How's it going, Ram fans? Welcome back to a bittersweet final show of the semester. I'm Mike Walsh.
And I know Leah wishes she could be joining us, but there's just too much to talk about tonight, so the show must go on. I'm Ella Fredrikson.
Without giving too much away, it was simply an incredible weekend to be a Ram fan.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. So many celebrations, so many seniors to honor, and a trophy taken back from Vegas.
Not to mention, I think we have a pick'em score we have to finalize for the entire semester.
All that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now. The Colorado State volleyball team capped off a remarkable season with a dominant 4-set victory over number 2 San Jose State, winning the 2024 Mountain West Tournament Championship. The Rams, who swept both the regular season and tournament titles, punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2019.
Yeah, Coach Emily Cohan's team redeemed last year's championship runner-up finish in style, powered by an experienced group of 5 fifth-year seniors. Emery Herman, Naima Weathers, Kennedy Stanford, Karina Lieber, and Malaya Jones. Herman, who was named tournament MVP, shined in the championship match, totaling 34 assists, 4 kills, and 7 digs, while directing the Rams offense to an impressive .409 attack percentage.
The match began with a highly competitive first set featuring 9 tie scores and 4 lead changes. Jones led the way with 8 kills, helping the Rams clinch a 27-25 victory. The second set saw Colorado State build on that momentum, siding out consistently and shutting down San Jose State's service runs. Lieber and Weathers dominated at the net, hitting above 500 as the Rams took the frame 25-20. After dropping the third set 25-23 in a fiercely fought battle, Colorado State refused to relive last year's heartbreak where they lost a 2-0 lead in the championship match.
In the fourth set, the Rams seized control, beginning and ending with clutch service runs from Maria Brun. Her 7-point streak closed out the match in dramatic fashion, with the final point coming on a Brun service ace that cemented the victory. Malaya Jones led the Rams offense with a stunning 29 kills over the weekend, including 8 in the final set. Lieber and Weathers were consistently strong, each contributing crucial kills and hitting at elite levels throughout the match. The defense, anchored by Herman and Stanford, helped shut down San Jose State's late attempts to force a 5th set. And the championship win marks the program's 24th Mountain West title and the second under Coach Cohan in just her second season. Colorado State enters the tournament with a 20-10 record, riding a 4-match win streak after sweeping both the Mountain West regular season and tournament titles.
Yeah. Their opponent, Texas A&M, comes into the match with a 19-7 record, also on a 4-match winning streak. The Aggies, who averaged 13.6 kills per set and hit a .256 clip, are led by 6'3" junior Logan Lednicki, who has totaled 419 kills this season. Ifena Kazakala anchors the defense, ranking 11th nationally.
And for the Rams, the team ranks 5th nationally in hitting percentage with .302. Excuse me. With Weathers leading the way individually at .499, Malaya Jones, the Mountain West Player of the Year, set a program record with 541 kills this season.
Ridiculous.
Sunday's NCAA selection show was a moment of joy, but now the focus shifts to taking on the Aggies. As an unseeded team, the Rams enter the tournament with a sense of determination, definitely to make a statement.
They have to.
The Rams are obviously aiming to extend their storybook season with an upset with a deep run in the tournament. I mean, how are you feeling? I mean, this team looks good right now.
I'm stoked. Yeah. I mean, you could not have more momentum going into this weekend, truly.
And the wins are big wins.
Exciting,
they are dominating these teams.
High energy, high numbers. The team looks so cohesive. I mean, names that you don't always see,
Maria
right?
Brun.
I was just about to mention her.
Yeah,
the beginning
huge.
ace and the end ace with that run in the 4th set. I mean, that's just perfect volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that San Jose State game. They they hit on all cylinders.
Yeah.
They were blocking
Goosebumps
shots. They were
up and
spiking.
down arms.
Malaya just looked like no one could guard her.
Yeah,
Anytime
I mean,
she hit the ball, it was a point.
We knew she was an incredible athlete. We know how high she stacks, even with these Texas A&M teams, right? But to see her on the big stage, I cannot wait for Friday.
It should be scary for A&M. I mean, they should be looking at this being like, this is the Mountain West Player of the Year. This is easily the best team in the Mountain West. I think they should be pretty scared.
I honestly wouldn't even be mad if they underestimated us, and then we came out hot, took 1, 2, 3.
For volleyball, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think it's time to move on to some football. I mean, volleyball's good, but we can move it on.
Yeah.
In a game that won't be forgotten anytime soon, Colorado State football scored 29 fourth quarter
Second half
points
team.
to overcome a 17-point deficit and claim a 42-37 victory over Utah State in the regular season finale. That win capped off an 8-4 season and is the cherry on top to the Rams' first bowl-eligible season since 2017. Quarterback Braden Fowler-Nicolosi threw for 4 touchdowns and rushed for 1 on the back end of a season-high 370 yards through the air. And on one of those touchdown tosses, freshman Jordan Ross caught his first career touchdown. Going in and looking at the plays, Jordan Ross, off the best play of his season by far from the 25-yard line, just makes the guy miss, throws him to the ground, an awesome touchdown. But this is before all the madness ensued. Then you get it to Braden, faking out the entire defense, taking it in. And here's the one that was really the game winner for the Rams. No one saw this game coming, but Vince Brown sent this one away. It's a 4th and 2. You're just trying to get 2 yards. But Vince Brown takes it all the way to the end zone, caps this one off. And I think the defense might have wanted him to slide there.
Yeah,
so
it kind of looked like
so that they could kneel the ball out and the game would end. But nonetheless, he went and scored.
Yeah.
But while Jordan, Braden, and Vince were clutch, Dane Olson
made the game.
A 6-year senior had the best performance of his career by far, recording 5 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. Sadly, we only get to see 2 of these catches, but the first one was for a touchdown, just outrunning everybody on the Aggies defense. And then we see a crucial catch on a 4th down in the 4th quarter that ultimately led the Rams to that score to bring them back within 2. Just some amazing plays from the 6-year senior who, before this, was really a special teams, didn't really do much. Now he's just a huge weapon on offense, but on defense. Safeties Jack Howell and Henry Blackburn combined for 25 tackles.
Always, right?
Continuing their dominance. Howell, who ranks 7th all-time for tackles for Colorado State with 360, celebrated his first bowl-eligible season with pride and praise for his team.
It sums up who these guys are, who that class was and really who this team is. Everything is not perfect. A lot of these guys weren't given a chance other than CSU. Not the biggest, the strongest, the fastest guys, but, man, they got heart. They got heart, and then they just fight. They just find a way to not give up, and, for 4 quarters, we're just going to play football. And, that's the love we have for each other. And, in the 3rd quarter, I looked at the team and I said, it doesn't matter what the scoreboard is, just play for each other, play for the love of the game, play for the love of your brother, and just keep fighting, and that's what they did. So, testament to who those guys are as people,
Now, if you were watching the game, if you're a Ram fan, with 7 seconds left, Coach Jay Norvell gave 2-time All-Mountain West receiver Torrey Horton a chance to take the field one last time. It hurts my heart to say that. Sidelined by an injury, obviously, since the team's turnaround win over San Jose State. Horton suited up for senior night and entered the game for the final kneel down. As the crowd realized what was happening, Horton received a standing ovation, obviously.
Everyone
just
was hyped.
Erupted. And the emotional moment came on his 22nd birthday, which was even
Even
better,
better,
right?
even better.
His celebration served as a fitting send-off for a player who has just been a cornerstone of this CSU football
his
program.
value can never be understated. It's a shame that he can't be on this team.
Yeah, seriously.
That game was emotional for all Ram fans. As Ella said, losing so many seniors is tough for literally any program. So let's switch it up to a team that absolutely knows that pain from this last year.
Yeah, Micah, the CSU men's basketball team has been trying to piece their roster together since the past month as they lost some crucial players this past offseason.
Yeah, since we last saw you on a Tuesday night sports show, the Rams are actually 1-2 in their last 3 games, losing to both UC Riverside and Washington over the Thanksgiving week. The first loss came on Friday, 77-75 to the Highlanders, in a game that the Rams were just outmatched. The Green and Gold had 3 players play in the 38 minutes plus. tons of minutes, but yet again, another overtime loss.
Another overtime loss. And this one will not look pretty on CSU's resume, as this Riverside team was ranked outside of the top 100 and should not even have been competition. So let's move to a loss that was a little bit more justifiable, acceptable against the Huskies of Washington. So outside of the Rams, there really wasn't much help in terms of scoring the rock. Nick Clifford once again led the effort, but to no avail, as Washington's highly touted big man, Great Osabor, dominated with a near triple-double in 32 minutes. And while this may have been expected for the green and gold, there were certainly moments when it got tight.
That's exactly right, Ella. The Rams actually held the lead at the half. I mean, they were looking good thanks to like certain plays from Jalen Lake. He was hot early. Just as the game went on, the harder it became to just create that separation and score.
Yeah, and the very next day, they did much more than keep as they put an end to their 3-game losing streak and grabbed a win over the TCU Horned Frogs.
Yeah, with a final score of 76-72 and yet another overtime for the Rams. It really took an extra effort to squeak this out. Nick Clifford was huge in this game, getting buckets at will and essentially willing this Rams team to a win. But it wasn't just Clifford, as guys like Bowen Bourne hit some back-to-back threes, completely swung the momentum, just changed the game. But in the end, the Rams just pulled ahead by 2 buckets in OT and played some suffocating defense to finish the Horned Frogs off. And as I said, Clifford had another stellar performance with a total of 25 points to go along with 12 rebounds and 6 assists. While the team stats were pretty even in all facets.
Yeah, and even though the overtime is a fun win to have, not being able to get the job done as regulation is a little bit scary.
Yeah, especially with that last overtime loss.
Right,
it was scary.
Exactly. But it is nonetheless a great way to finish the tournament after a less than desirable start. Yeah. But now we will switch the focus as they face off with the Loyola Marymount at 7 p.m. tomorrow night.
That's, it could be a tough game. But just because CTV Sports stops, the actual sports here on campus don't. So I think we should talk about some games that are coming up.
Yeah, Mike, there's still plenty to look forward to this week, just without your favorite recap to look forward to next Tuesday. As you said, Loyola comes to Moby tomorrow night. The first look at what their trip to Boulder might look like this Saturday.
Very true. Then the women have the week off the court, not seeing any action until Gonzaga comes into town on Sunday. Plus, this weekend marks the start to what we hope to be another record-breaking season for track and field.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. While they are traveling across a few different states this week, swim and dive will also be on the road in North Carolina for the U.S. Open.
And if you're looking for a little study break during your dead week, all of these programs would love to see you there if they're at home.
But for now, we're going to take a short little break. Don't go anywhere just yet. When we come back, Mike and I talk top moments of the weekend and some betting buzz for upcoming games. We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back from the break, Rams, into one of the most hectic sports recaps we've had in a while, starting, of course, with the biggest blunder of the season on Turkey Day. Just a terrible way to start your day if you were a Bears fan. Let's just take a look at that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have to
see it. So first, you see here, Caleb is getting the yards. The Bears are looking prime. They got a minute 17. They're looking like they're going to either score a touchdown, get a field goal, tie this game. But then the Bears here have 40 seconds left. They get the first down. I mean, they're on the 15-yard line. That is super close. But here's where it all goes wrong. Caleb Williams takes the sack, and you see there, the Bears have a timeout. But that clock is still moving. And as you watch this, that clock will just continue and continue to move. The Bears coach doesn't do anything. Caleb doesn't do anything. The team kind of just tries to run a play. All this time with a timeout in field goal range. But the team just seemingly doesn't do that. So this left fans and everyone dumbfounded. And you just have to watch here. They do this play, no timeout, no play call. They just rush it. It's incomplete. And then you lose to the best team in the NFL. You're going to see the reaction here from Caleb, the quarterback. You're going to see the reaction from the head coach, who ended up actually getting fired the very next day. For the first time in the history of the Chicago Bears, they made a in-season coaching change. And that was the reason. I mean, that was the sole reason for that happening.
Yeah, I mean, Flus needed to go.
He needed
Obviously,
to go.
Bears fans were very happy. It was a miscommunication.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was trying to put blame on certain places, but at the end of the day, it is the coach's job to watch the clock.
Is.
He needed to communicate that
Yep.
to his entire team,
Yep.
who
And this was
clearly
just-
didn't know what was going on.
This is the final nail in the coffin
Yeah.
for Eberflus. Just so many mistakes, and this was just probably the worst one.
I would say, personally, I think it should have been a long time ago.
Right.
But
No,
like you said,
agreed.
first time in history, the
Agreed.
Bears to fire a
But,
coach
you know,
mid-season. They
right.
were waiting until it's really
Right.
over.
And you know, Bears fans, they dealt with enough, that just makes it even worse.
Right, exactly.
But after that game, it would seem that no one could top that blunder.
No.
Like, that was a really bad one. But the Las Vegas Raiders did their best,
Yeah.
and they tried to top that blunder. Just take a look at this play here from them and the Kansas City Chiefs on the Black Friday game, the only NFL game
A competition for
of the
king
day.
of the losers this week.
Yeah,
Truly.
I mean,
yeah.
Brock Bowers gets a great catch here. You're only down by 2, so the Raiders just need 3 points. But you see there, the Raiders snap the ball, not to their QB, to their QB's shoulder. Therefore, the ball is loose. It's a fumble. The Chiefs get the ball, and once again, it's a ref making a call, and the Kansas City Chiefs winning a game.
Yeah.
It's not worse than the Bears one, but
It's still disheartening.
It's like you're in field goal range, and all you need to do is snap the ball and kick the field goal. That's
it.
all you need
It's
to do.
so easy.
It feels like a theme here with these first two. You just need to snap the ball and kick a field goal, but somehow it's a fumble and it's Chiefs
Right.
ball.
And it's not
Chiefs
even
win.
like the Raiders needed a field goal to tie, and then
It's
they
a
would have
win.
had to go
It's a
Chiefs in
win.
OT. It was a field goal win. That's it.
And I
One of the
know-
worst teams in the NFL to beat
Yeah.
arguably the best team
Yeah.
in the NFL.
And if you
right?
were watching
And
that
was it.
game, you saw the center, Jackson Powers Johnson, just beside himself.
He was so
It was
upset.
clearly a miscommunication, but just horrible to
Yeah.
see on TV like that.
Yeah.
But moving right along, we have a big one here.
Yeah.
The most hateful day, I think, in all of history of college football. 'Cause there were just a multitude of fights.
Of course there was.
Starting with, of course, the game
Yeah.
between Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah.
I think this was the bloodiest and the most reactionary of them all.
Arguably the hardest game to watch.
Yeah,
too.
a terrible game, but then the teams after showed more fight than they did in the actual game. So you see here both teams just going at each other, assistant coaches in there, cops are in there, and then you see the big one. The Michigan flag that they planted at half field getting taken down by an Ohio State player, and this just caused anarchy.
Yeah.
Everyone's fighting. As you'll see here, the cops pepper sprayed some of the people in the brawl.
Sorry,
You're seeing the reaction there. Well, let's just keep moving.
Yeah.
Let's go to Florida,
Yeah.
who also planted a flag after watching Michigan plant the flag. So they knew they were getting
What
into
a
a fight.
mess. Yeah, what
They knew
a
they were getting into a
mess.
fight, but you see here, the real cherry on top for me is here, right here. Florida State's head coach was so pissed that he took Florida's flag and he actually threw it. It wasn't even a player. It was the head coach of the Florida State.
Nobody showed sportsmanlike
Just terrible.
conduct here.
Yep.
Nobody.
And you keep moving.
staff, the
You keep
players,
moving.
yeah.
You go to the Battle of North Carolina. UNC loses a game by 5 points. The first thought, planting a flag at midfield at UNC, and UNC obviously reacts.
Yeah.
Then you get these big fights. Here's what you should do: is you should go to the end zone where there's no one there and just wave it. Another one right here, just terrible. You're just asking for fights. I know it's a rivalry. It is peak rivalry performance.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I've never seen more hate.
I mean,
across teams.
it looked like some of those teams truly did save all of their energy
Yes.
until the end of the game, where they
Yes.
knew there was going to be a bench clearing brawl
Right.
against everybody else.
If some of those losing teams had that fight in the game,
Yeah.
they might have won the game. I mean, a team like Arizona, it was pretty much a blowout. But a team like Ohio State, you show that much
Yeah.
fight in the game, you might actually win the game.
Right, exactly. And you just can't go out and fight like that
No.
after the game that you have.
Honestly,
it's
I
almost
hate to
shouldn't
say
be
it.
allowed.
I hate to say it. I agree with Michigan's running back when you say you just got to learn how to lose.
Right,
Sometimes you have to
exactly.
learn how to lose.
Yeah, sometimes you have to take that loss,
Right.
put your head
But
down.
you know, we're
to
going to
the
go
locker
away
room.
from it.
Yeah.
There's a ton of hate in
Move
those
on.
games. There were still some games that held positive outcomes. Let's first look at one of the longest games of the season and of the past, I think, 4 years now.
Yeah.
With the fight in the night, Georgia Tech. Going to 8 overtimes.
I mean, it almost felt like a fever dream
Yeah.
to watch.
Yep.
I was on a 3-hour flight from Tennessee to DIA, and I watched the game from the beginning of
Yeah.
the flight to the end of the flight, and it still was not over.
And you see it here. It's just you're jumping forward overtimes here because both teams can't seem to get those 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
But the one time Georgia got one, Georgia Tech got one.
They matched them.
And
always.
then we waited 3 more overtimes where Georgia Tech just tried this random formation that you've never seen in a football game. They get a PI, lucky, they still don't score.
Yeah.
But then Georgia gets one last chance. Georgia runs it in with Nate Frazier, and that's the game. Just so many 2-point conversions, so many plays you could have called.
You look at it and you're like, you are so
Yeah,
close
so
to
close.
the end zone.
2 yards.
Why does it take this long?
Yep. And then moving along, so Georgia secures their place, in the SEC championship. Another game to secure a spot in the SEC championship. And Texas's offense was great. Look at crazy catch right there from the running back. But Texas's defense pitched a shutout.
Obnoxious.
The only score Texas A&M had was a pick 6 off the offense.
Smothering.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you keep moving on to another team that knocked someone out of their championship game in Syracuse, who knocked Miami out of their ACC championship game and threw Clemson in. Just a huge upset for the number 6 team in the country, easily the biggest upset of the week outside of Ohio State.
Yeah, no, I mean, that Syracuse game was a fun one to watch. Texas was fun to watch. Obviously, less unexpected than the Syracuse upset. But just so many games this weekend that you're watching, and you're like, what is going on? That was
crazy.
the question of Saturday and Sunday. What is going on
You didn't
right
even
now?
think about a game like Miami and Syracuse. You were thinking about the rivalries, the state rivalries like Arizona State, just all those games.
You're flipping through the channels, and you're like, hold on.
Right.
That score didn't look right.
But all those games, they decided the conference championships that will be played this weekend. But before we get to some pick'ems to discuss our picks for those conference champions and those conference winners, let's first talk some sports betting.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe not?
I know, I think so.
All right.
I want to go back and play something that I think you might really like first.
I don't know.
So
if
we
I like
will
this.
get into that sports betting.
Okay.
When I was watching said Ohio State-Michigan game, my reaction, great. Obviously,
Yeah.
I knew what was happening. I was like, this cannot be real.
Okay.
Michigan is beating OSU. But somebody had a similar, even better reation to me towards this game. And so I felt like I had to bring it on to the show tonight. Watch it.
I don't want to see
their
this.
own team. They just get the ball over and over. We don't have a forward pass. We haven't had a forward pass all season. We don't have a quarterback. We have the best kid in the
It's
nation
forfeit. He
coming
was like,
in.
oh, it's
Better
going
win
to
now.
be a
I
better
want
game. Ohio State's a
State
better
to win this
team. He
game.
was saying all
I
that
really
before the
do,
game.
because they don't get us
I think
now.
Michigan
When
surprised
we're so
him.
bad, they ain't never going to get us.
It's whatever.
I mean, this rivalry needs
I'll let him have his 3 years. It's just, as you know, a little bit of an Ohio State fan, it hurts a little
Me
bit
and
seeing
him
those
had
games.
verbatim the same thing. We were screaming at the TV, I want Ohio State to win this game.
Oh my gosh.
I did. I was cheering for Michigan in the beginning, and then I was like, wait, this is ugly. It got ugly really quick. But yeah, in case you were wondering what I looked like during and after that game, Dave had the exact same reaction.
It's over. We're moving on. Michigan's not making the playoff. Ohio State's making the playoff. So I can't say I love that, but I'll be professional about it. Teams are teams, just sports. I'll move on.
You got to learn how to lose.
I'm
right?
letting you go. Talk your betting. Talk your sports betting.
Yeah, let's move on to some sports betting now. Okay.
That's all you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. In some of these unpredictable moments Mike just described, I bet some of you lost some money, and I bet some of you lucky punters might have actually made some. So this week, there's a few lines I know I'll be paying close attention to. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 5-0 with Russell Wilson under center, head to Cleveland to face the Browns in a repeat AFC North clash. With two of the NFL's best defensive players, TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, on the field, this game promises plenty of action. Currently, the over-under is set at 39 points, which is a slight dip from the opening line. In the Browns' last two outings, not only did they see a win against the Steelers in Week 11, but also put up a high-scoring battle against the Broncos just last night. Passing yards could be interesting here. Cleveland's Jameis Winston put up 395 yards last week, but also had some costly turnovers. Steelers QB Russell Wilson has been efficient, but also not so consistent with touchdowns. However, with both QBs in what seems to be an offensive groove, I'm taking the over and 200-plus passing yards for both Wilson and Winston. The San Francisco 49ers travel to Chicago to face the Bears as 3.5-point favorites. And the reason I bring up this game over others is the sheer pain both programs have endured this season. Call it a chip on the shoulder after firing Flus or getting lucky facing an injury-decimated team Week 14, but this will be Chicago's game. It's not going to be pretty, and it will likely not be so entertaining. But the most simple solution would be to take the money line on Chicago and change the channel. College football fans get a treat with the rematch between the Bulldogs and Longhorns, Georgia entering as 2.5-point favorites, but this game could come down to second-half adjustments. If Georgia takes a lead in a halftime, Texas has shown a knack for covering second-half spreads in big games. Georgia's offense remains one of the toughest in the nation, limiting opponents to under 20 points per game. Texas, meanwhile, is led by a high-flying offense averaging over 34 points per game. This matchup could be a classic offense versus defense showdown, making in-game betting a smart strategy for punters. Arizona State comes in as a 2.5-point favorite over Iowa State with a -140 money line, with the Cyclones sitting at +120. This matchup could be decided by turnover differential, as both teams have been inconsistent this season. Arizona State's offense is led by a dynamic backfield, but the Cyclones' defense has been solid in the red zone. Set in less numbers, I like the Cyclones upset. With lines this close, sharp bettors may look for alternative markets like total yards or individual player props to maximize the value. We're going to take another short break, but don't go anywhere just yet. When we come back, our final round of pick'ems for the semester.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what?
Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Welcome back from the break, Rams. With this being the show to cap off the semester, it's time to look at our finalized pick'em scores, and I know I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not really sure about you guys, but
I don't
feeling
think
good.
I should even be considered in the scoreboard.
I agree. You probably should.
I was on
But I
one
I
other show.
may have requested that you go up there, but I don't think it made it up. It's
No,
all right.
thank goodness. Oh my goodness. I have 0 points. I'll be very open about that. I came on 1 week.
Yep.
I made some bold choices and it didn't pull in my
Definitely
favor.
some upset choices.
That's
No
okay.
high risk, high reward.
Yeah,
fellas. You
except
gotta
it
go
was
for
this
it.
time high risk, no reward.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
in your
the
case,
no
but-
reward being not even on the scoreboard for pickups. So
It's all right.
Sorry.
everybody else did pretty well though. Obviously, Mike
Yeah.
skyrocketed above everyone else.
Yeah.
Leah tried to hold on. She just
I just,
couldn't.
again,
Yeah.
I think if me and Lee are on the same amount of shows, she missed
Yeah.
that one, it'd
Yeah.
be super close.
Yeah.
It'd be like a
Oh, yeah.
2-point difference.
I
But she
agree.
missed that one show, it set her back.
We
a
just
little bit.
need you to get a week off
Right.
and then
Yeah.
a fair game
Never
for the rest of us,
happens.
right?
All
But
right,
I
first
think,
game?
yeah,
All right.
First
let's
game.
start it off.
Packers versus Lions, Thursday night football.
Oof.
Divisional matchup that's going to be huge for either team to win.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys are thinking, why don't you start us off?
How do you
The
not pick the
Lions.
Lions? I mean,
Yeah.
wow, an absolute powerhouse right
Really?
now.
We're
Yeah.
on the same
Like,
page.
listen,
Did you
okay.
watch their last game?
Okay.
Just making sure.
I like Jordan Love, don't get me wrong. At the same time, Jared Goff, Montgomery, Laporta, Gibbs,
Look, I
how
get
do you
it.
see that?
Look,
and
they have all the
mean,
talent.
Absolutely.
The team that they basically should have lost to
Yeah.
fired their coach the next morning.
They got lucky.
I'm
The
just
Lions got
saying.
lucky last
I'm just
week.
saying, man.
And that was at Ford Field. This is the same thing. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's barely, not even a week late. I mean, this is Packers
New
all
week,
day.
new game.
I think the Packers are coming in with such a strong game that is not going to be led by Jordan Love, but Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
I think Love is going
I
to
think
be
that's a good
completely
pick, yeah.
complimentary in this game.
is
And if they
insane.
do that, I know, right? That's insane to say.
Right,
He's been
yeah.
doing so well. But I think if they pull that off, okay, the Packers have not lost since the Lions in their last game. I think they can do it.
No.
I think the Packers are going to take
A
it.
good Packer fan I knew told me that they always split the North. So I'm thinking
They
that they're
always
losing
split
the
the
one.
North.
They're losing the one to the Lions, and now they're winning the one.
It's a
against the
saying
Lions.
for a reason.
Yep.
You know?
Go Vikes. That's all I gotta say.
Go Vikes.
Go Vikes.
Come on, we're not even in the
Let's
conversation.
go Vikes.
So against these two teams, would you take the Vikings?
No, I'd probably
Okay.
still take the Lions, but I'm
Okay.
supporting the Vikes.
So you're
Always.
just pretty
Always.
confident in the Lions, is what we're hearing.
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
my biggest deciding factor with them before we move on, the Lions are so good with 150 plus in their yardage, right? The last time the Packers played, even though they lost, they only let up 124 yards to the
Okay.
Lions. It was strictly because of penalties that the Packers went down. That's what I'll
I
say.
just think the Lions have one more loss. This
You
is
think
it.
they got
This
one
is
more
their
this is gonna
loss,
be the
then they'll
one.
ride it out to
And
playoffs.
then-
But I think this is their. Yeah, I think
Playoffs is
they'll probably
a
do well.
different
I'm just
story.
saying,
Yeah, that's a
it
whole
feels
different
like
thing.
this week is a Packers game.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. I don't know, man.
Want to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I think we should move game number 2.
Game number 2.
Absolutely.
Steelers, Browns. Okay. Week 11, the Browns took the Steelers
They did.
down.
Yeah.
They did.
That was one of the most surprising games of the week, obviously. So now we see him again. and I think it's going to go the Steelers' way this week.
I
Gotta
agree.
agree with you. on that, yeah.
We got 3 Steelers
I
here?
agree.
Yep.
Nothing really sticks out to me about the Browns except for obviously watching the Broncos game
Yeah.
last night.
Yep.
Jerry Jeudy, but other than that, I
Jerry
think
Jeudy had something to prove.
He
though,
did.
I guess.
Yeah.
It was a revenge
Yeah.
game for sure.
I will say the other thing, revenge game, Nick Chubb is due.
Oh, absolutely.
He's due.
Oh, yeah.
He needs
It
to
seemed like
do
they barely
something.
used him last
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean,
Broncos
Russell
locked him
Wilson
down.
came back in.
so let me go to the opposite here.
Oh, there you go. Go
Let me
for
go
it.
to the opposite
Go for
here.
it.
I'm going to go to the Browns.
Yeah.
I think, especially watching that game last night, as Brooklyn said, they just looked super good on offense. And I think it was the same thing last week with the Steelers, with the Bengals. The Bengals put up a ton of good offense in the Steelers' defense. I just think this is the week. The Browns seem to have their number. I don't know how they won that game in Cleveland, but I think they can do the exact same thing when they go to Acrisure. I don't think the Steelers. I think they used to have a big home field advantage. I don't think it's there anymore. I think
Yeah.
they're kind of losing it. I think Browns, it's just a rivalry game.
Yeah.
The Browns already beat the Ravens in a rivalry game. They just play differently when it's these type of teams in their division.
Yeah. What do they
And-
say? You're not a Browns player until you beat the Steelers?
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
what it is?
I mean, it is pure hatred for these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Stefanski said, hey, this could be a terrible season, but you beat the Steelers twice. We love this season. As Browns fans, I think they'd be happy with that.
I don't know. The Steelers are a better team
Right.
than the Broncos, and the Broncos beat the Browns last night. Regardless, I'm not saying they're a bad football team.
Yeah,
They're playing
yeah.
good football right now,
right.
just not good enough to beat the Steelers for a second time within 3 weeks.
I just think that the game last week against the Bengals worries me for the Steelers.
Yeah.
But I guess, the game that the Browns lost to the Broncos also worries me.
Right,
So
exactly.
it's a little bit of both, but I just think the Browns, they got to take this one.
They have
They
to.
have
but I
nothing to
think-
lose. They have
Yeah.
nothing to lose. They get their fourth win. The Steelers have stuff to lose. I don't know. I think the Steelers have stuff to lose. I think the Browns take this one.
Should we go to another
I
great
think
argument?
so. Yeah.
College football, like I said earlier, gets a treat this week. Texas, Georgia has their rematch.
Yep.
Texas, in my opinion, are the favorites here for good reason. Nick, I would like to hear what you have to
Yes,
say in
agreed.
defense
Okay,
of
agreed.
the Dogs.
So here's the thing. I'm looking at the Pick'ems text this week, and I'm
Yes.
trying to decide, and everything's telling me go with Texas. Because since the first show,
Yep.
I have been saying how Texas is great.
Yep.
Every time I pick them in Pick'ems, I get a point.
Yeah.
So it
this
just
week you were like,
it just
"I don't
wouldn't
want
make
points."
sense for it
Yeah.
to end good. But with me going,
Can I?
Texas.
Did you pick Texas over Georgia the first time? Or did you
great-
pick Georgia?
I thought I picked Texas.
Okay.
I know
love
I
Texas.
picked
I think
Georgia.
Texas
I'm
is
just- I know,
like
I
an
wonder.
absolute
I'm just
powerhouse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just it just doesn't seem right.
So that's your
for-
reason is just gut feeling?
That's
Yeah.
fine, though.
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
You know, the football gods are
Yeah.
not really in my favor.
I mean, if you're going to
usually,
pick a
so.
toss-up, this is not a bad one to say, hey, it could go either way.
Yeah, and for me, Texas is kind of in the playoff, even if they lose this game.
Right.
So I don't I'm going Texas. I think they're the better team. I think they have the better defense. I mean, their defense looked so good last game against an A&M offense that had been hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Completely slowed them down. The Dogs' offense is not that much better. I mean, you just saw it against a team like Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly there were defense and offensive issues in that game.
Yep.
So I just think in this game, it feels like Texas has been on a hot streak. It feels like they're taking this one.
And Texas's second half of the season has just been,
Been awesome.
the best.
Since the Georgia game.
Yeah, I
mean,
was going to say the best in the
Yeah.
SEC. I mean, nobody else has compared to
Yeah.
it. And I just think they're going to steamroll them,
I also
honestly.
think Georgia needed that win at the time because of their loss to Alabama. They needed that win.
Yeah.
I think this is a different type of game that
I
I,
agree.
think Texas just
in
takes.
Texas.
And I think, I don't know, Georgia's going to be a question for the playoff if they lose this game. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have Texas too. They
All
just
right.
came off a good
There we
win
go.
against A&M, who was ranked 20.
Yeah.
So,
I like it.
judging by the last game, I think
Yeah.
they got it.
I'm for it.
Stick with college football.
I'm
We will
for
go
it.
to the Mountain West Championship that
Yeah.
CSU should have been in it. It's going
A
to be
repeat
Shut up.
Mountain West
going to be
championship
Boise
for that
State
matter.
versus UNLV, 11-1 Boise State looking to make the college football playoff. Effectively, if UNLV wins, neither team is making the
Yeah.
college football playoff.
Right.
Boise wins, they're making the playoff. Boise has so much to prove. Ashton has to prove his Heisman case. I don't think there's any way Boise loses this game.
I don't think so either. They have never won back-to-back Mountain West championships, and I think this is their
This is
year
it.
for
Yep.
sure. UNLV is a great team. We've seen great football from
For sure,
them.
for sure.
Just not good enough to beat Boise.
Yeah, and they almost beat Boise, but again, that was at UNLV. That was
Right.
everything.
They
in
had
their
everything
favor.
going for 'em.
Right now, everything is in Boise's favor. They need this game. They need this win.
Yeah, they're not going to break their 10-game win streak
No,
against
you
UNLV.
guys-
I mean, you said it, Ashton
Boise.
Genty.
Yeah.
You put him in that spot.
The team just
I
needs
think
it.
he's going to perform. I don't think there's much question to it.
When does he not? Right?
Exactly. It's Ashton Genty.
Yep.
And I think maybe UNLV, a part of them is like, hey, I'd like to have a Mountain West team in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
You know,
Right?
someone to
Yeah.
cheer for. You know, if UNLV's not going to make it, why not? You know?
Might as well.
I'm sure they're not thinking that.
No.
But, you know, we're going to
If we
pretend
can't
like
have
that.
it, no one can.
Yeah, we're
It's
gonna
definitely
pretend,
what
yeah.
they're thinking,
But we're all
actually,
going
yeah.
Boise, so let's move to game 5.
Game 5. Nick, you want to take this one?
Oregon versus Penn State.
This is a good one.
Oh yeah,
It's a good
I got Penn.
Wow.
Tyler Warren.
I'm disagreeing.
Bold pick. Bold pick.
Hey, that's what I do.
Let's hear it.
I'll back you up here.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Well, no, you
go.
start.
Oh,
I'll
me?
back you.
Yeah,
I'll
you
back
go.
you up. Whatever you have to say.
I thought my pick was.
Well, I thought you were
back.
confident.
I was like the pick alone
Where's
needs
the
to be
confidence
back.
going? Come on, let's
I
see.
am
Penn
confident
State.
in you, so tell me why I should be
Tyler
confident.
Warren.
Yeah, there you
Tyler
go.
Warren,
There
he's
you go. The
looking
Warren
good.
That's
factor.
That's my X factor.
The
That's all I
Warren
need.
factor.
One factor.
That's all I need, Mike.
Okay.
Throw 'em
Let's
in there.
mention
I
their
think he's gonna do
defense.
good.
Okay, I'll throw their defense in there.
Are you looking at the same 12-0?
The same Penn State defense?
The 12-0 Oregon team that has not looked bad in
I'm
any
not
facet of the
saying
game.
that Oregon is not a great team, but I think if Penn State's defense can stop their passing game, then that is equivalent or almost less than Penn State as a whole.
I'm going to tell you what I think I said on this show specifically for 3 years in a row now.
Somebody find the clip.
And that Penn State and specifically James Franklin, their head coach, cannot win big games. Historically, they've never done it. This is the perfect opportunity for them to lose a big game, drop out of the playoff. This team has played no one. This team is 11-1 for basically playing no one, losing their only good game they played. I have no confidence in Penn State. I'm fully going on Oregon.
I thought this was a much tougher pick.
No,
I was
Mike,
gonna say,
you
I didn't
started
know Mike
for,
felt this
honestly.
strongly about it.
I have no faith
If
in
you're
Penn.
looking at it in terms of yardage, 448, 442, when you're comparing them, their stats are there. The only thing that has that big difference is the passing game. But Penn State's got a defense. They can stop it. They want the win.
But
They
no
want
one,
the win.
But no one has stopped the Oregon pass game. There have been games where Penn State has been stopped. They almost lost the game to Minnesota. To me, this is not a game. Oregon takes this 1-5.
It's not even a game.
It's not even
As I said in the text this week, Oregon by 1 million. That's what I think.
I picked Oregon too, but everything you just said, I said it all.
Come on.
Oregon by
said
a
it.
million?
Pick
Yeah,
bag,
Oregon
yep.
by 1 million.
Oregon
It's
by
not
1
even a
million.
game.
We've got one more game.
We're done with that game?
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
move on.
I like this one.
Since it's not even a
If
game.
you want to
I
talk
like
about it, go for
Forget
it.
about
This
it.
next game is really good. We got Arizona State versus Iowa State for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
Winner gets in the playoff. This
Oh, yeah.
means everything to these schools.
They're fighting for it.
I mean, you guys started off.
I have Arizona.
Arizona?
Yeah,
me
Arizona.
too.
They're coming off a huge win against Arizona week 15 or week 14,
Right.
excuse me. They won 49-7, and they're favored by 2.5 points. So
Yeah. They've also just been on a heater.
They have.
I feel
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
just looked really good these last few games.
And I'll tell you, Scatabo is the running
Oh,
back.
yeah.
He's
yep.
so
No, and
fun to
he's
watch.
only
We had to
gonna
watch him
continue
here
now.
when he played at Sacramento State, played against CSU a few years ago. He destroyed us
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
played for Sacramento State, and he's doing the same thing at ASU against every Big 12 team. But I'm going with Iowa State here.
I am too.
I
am too.
I think this is the type of game that Iowa State just pulls one out. I think they had a tough game last week against Kansas State, but that's building them for this game.
Yeah.
ASU had just a cakewalk over Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to be ready for this game. I think ISU takes this by maybe a touchdown.
I agree. I think the reason that it's going to be so close, the reason for the 2.5 line, Iowa's run game or run defense is vulnerable.
Yeah, yep.
And ASU, if they can exploit that, that's kind of where we could
sure.
see some separation
For
in the
sure.
score. But I think Iowa does have the talent.
Yep.
They have the drive. Obviously, they have the motivation.
I
talking
do like
about the
their
playoffs.
quarterback a little more, Rocco Beck.
Yeah, Rocco's shown himself.
He's got a really fast throw. Like it almost doesn't look like he's throwing the ball, but he's
Lasers.
got a really fast
Yeah.
lasers. If he's hitting in this game, I think Iowa State takes it.
Yeah, and it's not to say Arizona has not proved themselves this year. They are
For sure.
fun to watch.
For sure.
A great team. Kind of remind me of the Lions almost in their
Yeah, the
energy
fan
that they
base
bring.
is rallying
exactly,
around them.
Exactly. But I just think the Cyclones are going to have the upset.
What
Yeah.
do you guys think?
I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
This one will
Absolutely.
actually be a game.
Yeah.
Definitely a good
This one
game.
will be a game. Yes.
So you're saying the other one's not a game?
This one will be considered.
You
a
guys
football
can watch
game
it.
in the
It'll be entertaining.
I guess we'll have to see. I mean, these are conference champions. These guys are going to playoffs. All these
Absolutely.
games mean more.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
Easily.
This is everything.
you
for
throw away the stats. It's just like this OSU-Michigan game. You throw away the stats. It's just playing football. Who's coming out of
It's
it?
emotion, work ethic,
Yeah,
drive,
yeah.
everything that is behind throwing the ball and catching
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah.
That is all we've got for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for this final show of the semester. Don't forget to tune in to CTV the rest of the week to close out the year. Good luck on your finals and have a safe and happy holidays.